Hello. So, in today's video, we're going to talk about the different types of functions that happen inside of an adolescent brain. And so far, what we know is that with the adolescent brain, it changes consistently all the time. But why is it so important to learn about how does the brain function? So, in my group, we discussed over how the brain works when it's in the adolescent stage, the different functions, how it's operating, so on and so forth. So in my part, I'm going to talk about the type of prefrontal cortex and the brainstem that's operated as the adolescent brain is still growing. So with the prefrontal cortex, for those who do not know, is mostly in charge with absorbing the most information that you see, hear, taste, touch, and feel. So in other words, sensory details. Altogether, when an adolescent sees something or absorbs information, it becomes part of their brain. Their brain is working to remember what exactly did they see, what exactly did they hear, so on and so forth. Now, as a teacher, it is important that we continue to allow those prefrontal cortex to work inside the brain when they're in school. Because half the time they are learning something, and the other half the time they're so easily distracted. And that's the thing about adolescents, they get distracted so easily when they're in school. So as a teacher, we have to find ways to keep them engaged. So for example, I have some students who prefer to play games. So as a language arts teacher myself, it's important to find ways to keep them engaged, like doing quizzes challenge that can help them with grammar, doing a Kahoot with teens to see who knows the most about grammar exercises, things like that. And it makes them think, I did not know that. Oh, that's cool, because they're trying to remember, and when they learn something new, it becomes part of their informational status. They're remembering. And moving on to the limbic system. The limbic system is going to focus on the brainstem, which, for those who do not know, the brainstem is connected to the spine and pretty much is in charge of walking, the motor skill, and it's the only stem that is connected to the spine when it comes to walking. But I was doing some research, and I found that with the limbic system, in other words, the brainstem, if an adolescent were to partake in alcohol, one, it can affect their mental state, meaning they cannot think straight. And with the brainstem, it can affect their walk to the point it feels like they're wobbling back and forth because they're not conscious, they're unconscious, because they don't know what they're saying and they don't know what they're doing. So, as teachers, it is important to know that one, no adolescent should not be drinking. And to help them understand, one, when you partake in alcohol or any kind of drug substance besides drinking, like smoking, edibles, and whatnot, it's important to understand, one, it can affect your mental state, meaning you do not know what kind of chemicals you're putting into your body that could be harmful, and if it does affect your brainstem, it could do more harm than good. So if I wanted to include a program that talks about children who are taking substances or partaking in alcohol that's affecting their body to the point we can see the physical changes, it's important to understand that your mind needs to be protected. So in conclusion, understanding how the functions of the brains is really important for an adolescent, especially when it's during the time that they are learning so much. Because one, adolescents should not be behind in things that they are doing. They should be getting ahead, especially if they're going to be led into the adulthood. Because by the time they reach adulthood, they're going to go through more challenges. So by breaking down the different parts of what the adolescent brain goes through, we understand as teachers how to handle it. Because rather than being stressed, we should continue to understand, how can I reach to this child? How can I understand how this adolescent is going through these changes? What as a teacher can I do to help them? But I do thank you for your time. Thank you so much. Goodbye.